All right, let's dive right in. This isn't about financial advice. What we're doing here is mapping the hidden forces that shape our financial outcomes. Think of it as exploring the physics of how money actually works, not just how we're told it's supposed to.
So let's start with a big question. We're all taught that money is for spending, or for saving, or maybe for showing off a little status, right? But what if its real job, its most powerful function, is something else entirely? Something that quietly dictates how we experience every single day. And that leads us straight to our first core signal. It's a simple idea, but one that's so easy to miss. The most important thing money can buy isn't more stuff, it's more control over your own time. You see, here's the fundamental shift in thinking. We're conditioned to measure money in visible units, right? Dollars, salary, revenue. It's easy to count, it's easy to compare. But the true measure of wealth? It's invisible. It's not about the dollars you earn, it's about the hours of your life you get to buy back. Okay, so what does this look like in the real world? Well, once you see the signal, you start to see a pattern everywhere, especially among people you'd think have it all figured out. We call this pattern the rushed rich. It usually starts small. Your income goes up, and pretty soon so do your obligations. The bigger house, the fancier car, the more complex life, it all needs to be paid for. So what happens? You end up trading away more and more of your time just to keep the whole thing running. It's a cycle that's incredibly difficult to break. And that leads to the next phase of the pattern. Every big decision starts to get optimized for one thing: maximizing immediate cash flow. You chase the promotion, you take on the demanding client, all to feed the machine. And the thing you give up, without even realizing it, is flexibility. You sacrifice the very freedom that the money was supposed to provide in the first place. And the result is this strange paradox. You might get a big bonus and feel rich for a week, maybe a month. But your default state, your long-term reality, becomes feeling permanently rushed. Your calendar is no longer your own. So the number in your bank account goes up, but your actual sense of freedom goes way, way down. So you have to ask, why is this pattern so incredibly common? What's the engine driving this behavior, even for really smart people? Well, let's break down the mechanism. It's all about a set of invisible incentives that quietly shape our choices. Here's how it works. First, income is visible. You can see it, you can compare it, but control over your time, that's totally private. Nobody sees it. Then you have society, which constantly tells us that being busy means you're important. A packed calendar becomes a status symbol. And finally, the whole idea of financial progress gets turned into a game of accumulation, like getting a high score. It completely distracts us from what we're actually trying to win, which is freedom. So what's the real cost of misunderstanding this signal? Where does this path ultimately lead? It leads to a place that you could really only describe as a golden cage. This quote just nails the idea perfectly. Think about it. If your net worth keeps growing, but it doesn't actually change the choices you can make, or how you spend your day, or who's in charge of your schedule, then it's not really wealth. It's just bookkeeping. This brings us to a really crucial distinction. For a lot of people, money serves as a form of psychological insurance. It's like a growing score that makes them feel safe, but it doesn't fundamentally change the structure of their life. The alternative is to see money as functional leverage. It's a tool you actively use to create new options, to literally buy back your time, and to reshape how you live. Okay, so if that's the trap, how do you avoid it? There is another way to approach this, an edge that financially resilient people use, often very quietly, to build real, durable freedom. This edge comes from building what you could call a low-need system. Now, this is a totally counterintuitive idea. It says that real financial power doesn't come from earning enough to afford more stuff. It comes from systematically reducing the number of things your money has to pay for. Your freedom actually grows as you shed obligations. And the difference in outcome is just night and day. A high burn rate, a life with huge fixed costs, is fragile. Any shock to the system and you're in trouble, you're trapped. On the other hand, a low burn rate creates incredible resilience. It allows you to absorb shocks and it leaves you rich in the one asset that matters more than anything else: options. So, we don't like to end these explainers with neat answers. That's not really the point. The goal is to leave you with a few powerful questions to help you think about your own financial physics. Here are 3 to consider. Who or what is really in control of your time? Be honest. Is it you? Your job? Your lifestyle's demands? Second, what do you actually need? Try to separate what you truly need for a fulfilling life from all the wants and social expectations piled on top. And finally, maybe the most important question of them all, if money was no longer the issue, if it just became a tool that gave you complete freedom over your time, what would you do? The answer to that, well, that tells you what your money is really for.